If you haven't seen these two videos that I made already, an unexpected fan animation crossover, part 1 and 2, then I suggest you go ahead and check that out. But yeah, you should have obviously seen this coming, that why exactly did I technically made this fan-made animation? Well, let me tell you this, because one, you've seen me actually talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal before, and I actually have done a few Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal related content for like pretty good long while in the past. And as you know that Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal is actually my #1 favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, it was actually the very first Yu-Gi-Oh! Series that I ever watched entirely. But alongside with this, I've also managed to even bring up Vampire Knight along with this mix during that fan animation that I did, which obviously was, as you know, Yuki Cross or Yuki Kuran, however you prefer her surname, along with the other characters that just basically got put into the fan animation like Zero Kiryu or Kaien Cross, and this character called the Scarlet Maze, which I technically called her, which is the, the voices inside Yuki's head, which I felt like she would have been an amazing villain to deal with. But those two things I'll probably talk about later in a few other videos that I was actually thinking of during this time. I've been really looking forward to finally be talking about these two series together, and to why I think that these two series are actually like a pretty interesting and unique duo actually. So you're probably wondering to your first off, why the heck did you even decide to be able to come up with this sort of thing? Well, as I said, so Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal is my first favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Series that I ever watched. Love it. Vampire Knight was actually the first ever anime that I've actually experienced, and I was still in primary school, but at least I wasn't that young, obviously. But for somehow no reason, it just somehow grabbed my attention out of nowhere. I was just looking at the ending of one of the episodes. I think it was episode 11 of Vampire Knight Guilty, which is basically season 2 of Vampire Knight. If you ever watched the anime, Vampire Knight Guilty is actually a lot better than Vampire Knight season 1. I don't know why, it's always been like that. That's always been like with me. And the thing is, a lot of people, whether some people are revisiting Vampire Knight, or if you're a Vampire Knight fan like myself, I've still been, very well attached to it for all those years since I was in primary school. And aside from that ending in that episode specifically, the ending credits of Vampire Knight Guilty, that was somehow just seeing Yuki Kuran just walking by, just staying on the stand, and then all of a sudden she picks up the sand, and then all of a sudden it just turns into blood. Just how the heck are you doing that? It's what is this? What is this sorcery? I was a bit more excited that way, to be honest. But then again, I was just a kid. I was just really just a kid just watching it, and I was just what? How you doing that? It's huh? Just all of a sudden getting the blood butterfly, which is, by the way, that is actually a thing. The blood butterfly is actually a thing in the Vampire Knight mangas, if you haven't seen it. I feel like that was something that foreshadowed continuing on with the series in the manga. But anyways, I could just keep on geeking about it too much, so let me just get straight to the point. First off, what exactly do these characters actually have in common? The main protagonist, Yuma Tsukamo, and Yuki Kuran. Well, first off, we obviously know that these two characters both want to have natural, normal human lives. Yuma, being a human himself, wants to live that regular life. He wanted to be a champion duelist. As for Yuki, when she was still a human as Yuki Cross, she also wanted to have a normal human life as well, until when she realized the truth, which is, by the way, major spoilers, that actually when she learned the truth about herself, she was actually also a vampire, if not a very important one, and perhaps, if not the most powerful. She's actually known to be the pure-blood princess. Now, first off, if you don't know, pure-blood vampires in the Vampire Knight series are actually pretty much going to be considered as one of the most powerful vampires ever known into the world of Vampire Knight. Take for Kaname Kuran, Ishizuka Hiro, Rido Kuran, Takuma's uncle, I'm pretty sure, unless it's his great-grandfather, I'm pretty sure. And of course, there are a few other pure-blood vampires along that are actually more specifically mentioned in the manga of Vampire Knight series, if you have not seen those yet. So yeah, both of them do want to live normal human lives, so at least we can count that one down the list. What else do they technically have in common? Well, the thing is, Yuma Tsukamo, first off, actually does want to have peace with, with not just 2 worlds, but also 3 worlds at once. He actually had to face off the Baryons, which was a completely different world compared to his, but also wanted to save his friend Astral, who is a kindred spirit from the Astral world. And apparently, Baryon World actually wanted to destroy the Astral World, and he wanted the 2 worlds to coexist, along with Earth. So yeah, that's a pretty big responsibility there, if you have not seen the Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal anime. It is absolutely insane, and he tries whatever to do in his power to keep it like that, but of course, it just gets very hard for him. He wants to make sure that he lives in peace along with Earth and Baryon World, Astral World, to coexist with the Baryons and also with the Astral people. And as for Yuki Kuran, well, guess what? She also wanted humans and vampires to actually coexist as well. However, that was technically sort of like her foster father's idea. If you don't know, who is that actually? Kaien Cross. However, she actually then decided to carry on that exact same legacy that Kaien Cross wanted to bring out as well, which is amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. And I don't want to bring any spoilers, but if you have seen any of the Vampire Knight manga, you'll probably know, so I'll just leave it at that. For those who haven't, go ahead and check it out. I've read it myself, and it is actually pretty good in most areas anyways, and it's pretty good. The same thing about Yuma Tsukamo and Yuki is that basically that they do have a bit of typical interesting family issues that actually do happen around in their time. Because, like, first off, for example, Yuma Tsukamo's father and mother, I haven't seen those two. They actually go missing at some point when adventuring. Which, if you have not seen that already, I will actually bring up that sooner or later at some point in one of my videos that I want to bring up. And the same thing goes for Yuki. Her real parents actually did go missing as well. She actually never knew exactly what happened to them, but until when she gathered her memories, she actually then discovered the real truth. Like, her father actually tried to protect her from all the nasty vampires that are actually trying to get to her, thanks to Yuki Kuran. And also, her mother actually sacrificed herself trying to turn Yuki into a human, which, in the process, she had to steal her vampire genes to do that, but also lose her memories in the process. That episode, by the way, if you have not seen, in Vampire Knight Guilty, that is absolutely insane. It is actually one of the best episodes I've seen. I guess you could possibly say that that's pretty much, like, very good, at least a decent amount of, like, what they actually do have in common, basically. So yeah, they kind of do share, like, some of the same kind of traits with each other, which is actually pretty cool. And that's why I kind of decided to make this video, the fan animation that I try to do, which is pretty good. I mean, of course, the animation itself wasn't that really great, let's be honest. The voice acting, I would say, decent, for my take. Now, speaking of Yuki, with actually her losing her memories, there's actually one other character in particular who actually did lose their memories in Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, and that is, of course, Yuma's lifelong helper partner of dueling, Astral, from the Astral world. You see, Astral actually did also lose his memories back in his world when he was actually dueling his most fearsome foe, Don Thousand, the great Baryon deity. They were actually battling out to who actually claims the Numeron Code. A card that can actually rewrite history, the past, the present, and the future. And during that duel, Astral thought that he won, but that wasn't really the case. He actually got more hurt than Don Thousand was, and he may have sent Astral down into... Astral may have sent Don Thousand into the Great Baryon Seas. However, Don Thousand was in spirit manipulating all the humans, specifically who became his Baryon soldiers, the Emperors. If you remember Shark, Rio Castle, otherwise known as Nash and Marin, and of course you got Vector, Mizar, Alito, Garag, and Dumont. And as I just said earlier about Yuki's memories, well, guess what? As I said, the mother was the one to steal her memories away while during the process trying to steal her vampire genes, and while she was trying to turn her into a human in the process. So yeah, that's basically a bonus of for between Yuki and Astral, basically. The whole thing was basically supposed to figure out, you know, on their darkest fears, and technically that fan animation was to really express how Yuki would technically succumb to her dark side if she ever to continue on with, you know, can't accept the fact that she actually is a vampire. She won't be able to know how to control her powers as a pureblood, and would she actually go technically insane, which basically which I do want to talk about that even further detail in another episode as well that I'm working on. As for the dark sides alone, like the other ones like Dark Zexal and Number 96, Dark Zexal is the dark reflection of the original Zexal, which is basically the merged version between Yuma and Astral's bond combined, all of thereby combined into one new duelist. And as for Number 96, he's actually the dark reflection of Astral. But during the time between Astral and Dawn 1000 when fighting for the Numeron code, apparently Dawn 1000 actually implanted something in Astral's heart, some sort of dark aura inside of him, which then actually that was the birth of Number 96, Dark Mist. And I never knew this. I actually never knew this. When I was actually playing one of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist levels, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal campaign, I never knew that. And that got me so wounded up. It's like I needed to find the episode for that. And I found it, and it was true. So yeah, I guess you could possibly say that when it comes to their dark sides or the darkest fears, you could possibly say that that is also something that they have that all those three characters in particular have that sort of thing in common. And at least the good thing is that during that fan animation that I did, it's actually not, that kind of makes it feel like this could be something that they're going through, and that each of these three are basically not alone. They actually have each other. Now, is there any chances that you're probably thinking to yourselves that would I possibly do a fan animation where Yuki comes into Yuma and Astral world, just, you know, Heartland City and all that stuff? Who the heck, like, because as you see, that Yuma and Astral, I decided to make the story look like that, you know, the Numeron network, the Numeron code was actually the one that brought them into the world of Vampire Knight in the first place, which also was their ticket home. That way they can return to Heartland City. And actually, here's the thing: when it comes to place between, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, so Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal is basically in a time where this is basically straight after Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, because, you know, Yusei Fudo is actually the one who created Xyz summoning. And if you don't believe me, then you can actually check out Spell Commander 91. He actually knows a lot about that sort of stuff. He's very good. It's amazing how he does his work, so go ahead and check that out if you don't believe me. And as for Yuki's world, that is kind of like set in some sort of, just like some sort of small town, but it is like, it does have like places crawling with vampires and all that. Also, you're even probably wondering to yourself, if Yuki actually did visit Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal and visit Yuma and Astral, then would she be able to duel? Obviously, she'll need some dueling tips, obviously from Astral, and maybe perhaps from Yuma, but I think Astral will be the better character for that. She could probably learn from Quentin, perhaps. I feel like Quentin will probably be a good character to give her some dueling strats, or even Rio Castle, or Kite Tenjo, even. And I feel like the best deck, if Yuki Kuran were to ever duel, would definitely be the Vampire deck. A Vampire deck will 100% suit her very freaking well. And along with the fact that she could also use certain Vampire Xyz monsters, actually. We've got, like, what? Like, Zombie Vampire. They got, like, some sort of Vampire Hunter, I think. I've forgotten who his name is. And they even got like a specific number card for that as well. Because you know that Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal is literally all about collecting number cards. Guess what? There is one in particular called number 24. Dragulus the Vampiric Dragon. Now, this one's actually a pretty interesting card. It's all about like flipping your opponent's face down, your opponent's monsters face down. Never actually tried it. I actually do want to try it sometime at some point at Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, but far out. I have not played that in a while, and I do have a few videos that I actually want to show specifically. So yeah, keep an eyes peeled for that one. But I definitely feel like that number 24 Dragulus would definitely be a suitable number card for Yuki Kuran to play if she were to be dueling Yuma and Astral, even at full strength. I feel like that would be absolutely awesome. Especially if we're talking about like just anime cards wise, then just going through like anime sort of stuff will definitely work out very freaking well. I feel like that would be super cool. I also feel like that interacting with any of the other Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal characters, like, you know, Yuki interacting with the girls, Tori, Rio, Anna Kaboom, or Kathy Catherine, I mean, those could I could definitely feel like a trip happening, like a girl's day happening with those characters, because they could just go ahead and just shop and just look for clothes. I feel like that would be absolutely awesome, but also have some very sweet heart-to-heart time stuff with them. I feel like that would be awesome. Even also having discussions about family and such, like if he ever like talks to, you know, Kite Tenjo, or, you know, how he actually has to take care of his brother Hurt and about his situation, or Shark, when he had to protect his sister Rio, which kind of relates how Kaname, Yuki's brother, actually tries to protect her, but in the most, he doesn't really technically do it in the right way. I know that, I mean, Kaname does mean well in a sense, but the way how he does it sometimes is just like, you know, he does kind of take things over the top, and I feel like having to talk with these people would actually be good. Or Yuma Tsukamo with his sister Kari Tsukamo. That'll be freaking hilarious. I feel like that'll be absolutely funny as. I feel like just basically talking about, like, you know, that sort of stuff. Or even perhaps the Arclight family, you know, Byron, aka Vetrix. Or even perhaps, you know, the Arclight brothers like Quentin, Trey, Quattro. I feel like that would be absolutely fantastic. Like, things that need to be really meaningful here. I mean, whether also that Yuki could probably tag along with, like, you know, Zero Kiryu will probably come along perhaps. And maybe Yori. I was thinking a lot about Yori, since that, you know, she is Yuki's best friend, and maybe just Kaien Cross will just come along as well. Just have those four characters come along, because the way how I said it was a little bit interesting, and like, because Kaname wasn't like nowhere in the fan animation that I did. But yeah, it kind of makes sense. I didn't want to have like Kaname in the situation, so yeah, I kind of want to like set it in somewhere that was, I don't know. Like, probably when Kaname was actually sealed in, like, the ice coffin, like, literally when they first did that or something. I don't freaking know. That's how I was picturing it. There's nothing else much I could be able to really possibly think of, but it was the best that I could do anyways. I don't know, maybe she could even talk to the Baryons, perhaps? I mean, because the Baryons were once, you know, ordinary humans, but since, thanks to Don Thousand, he literally turned them into, like, his Baryon emperors, which are technically not really human. Whenever they're like in their Baryon forms, they kind of look like, well, Vector, particularly speaking, Vector 100% looks like a zombie type monster. The others just like kind of look like gladiators, or like crazy, like these warriors with these crazy armors. It's pretty cool. But also having to like talk to them and interacting with their past, and then how they actually then became Baryons and then coming back as humans, thanks to Astral. That would be pretty cool, actually. I feel like that would be a very interesting topic to even go through. But anyway, I feel like that should be enough to talk about at this point in time. But yeah, I just wanted to make this very video I feel like there's a lot of things to be explored, especially when it comes to that kind of fan crossover. If you think about me, for example, I don't know if anyone has come up with anything crazier than that, but like, I don't think anyone has. So yeah, some people go like with the most crazy, some people go with like the most accurate and appropriate, or some is just complete absolute random. for me, it's kind of like a very interesting, unique kind of way, I guess. Trying to like mix and match between characters, which, by the way, I mean, from what I said at the beginning, kind of fits in pretty good, actually, I would say. So, what do you guys think about this? What do you think of this talk that I'm doing right here? I mean, do you think that this is a bit of a good, interesting crossover? Do you think it's not as much? Do you think that what I said is true? Do you think they actually have that sort of thing between each other? Do you think that Yuma and Yuki plus Astral actually would actually be like, you know, very good friends due to the situations that they have been in? And do you think that Yuki could probably go and visit, you know, Yuma's world, I guess, go to Heartland City with Zero, Yori, and Kaien Cross? Do you think she should also duel by using the vampire deck? Do you think she should be able to have number 24 Dragulus the Vampiric Dragon? Any of that sort of thing, and about the interaction with any of Yuma's friends, or maybe Yuki's friends interact with them, perhaps. It'll be very interesting. Let me know your thoughts. I feel like there'll be some very interesting things talking about this if this does go big. But don't you worry, because I am actually going to be talking about more about, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal or Vampire Knight. I have talked about a bit of about Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal before. And if you have actually seen my music video, oh man, I haven't talked about that in a while. But if you've seen that, go ahead and check that out. That'll probably be in the description by perhaps. Anyway, hope you have, I'll let you guys be. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, as I said. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy. And as always, my name is Mad Dog. And let your days be mad and rad.